if I'm getting any sound here, people. Welcome, bow betters. Let's see if this is going to work out for me. Otherwise, come on. Sip and smoke, folks. Sip and smoke. Got something very interesting. Take a look. I need to confirm the sound as usual first. Check that out. It's a collab with the Smashing Pumpkins. How Chicago can you get? So give me a moment here while I confirm if I got sound. No one's in the chat, of course. No one's here yet. Whoa. All right, I got sound on the computer finally. Come on, people. Come on. It says that I'm live. Welcome, bow betters. How's your evening going? If you could hear me. I'm anxious to smoke this cigar. I had a different cigar in mind, something that was in a higher price point, higher price range. This one's in the $9 range. Placencia just makes fantastic cigars. I've not had this Reserva. I've been getting the Cosecha, as you guys may already know, as well as this other one. Oh, God, I forget the name of it right now. Fantastic smokes, but Placencia is another one of these cigar companies. We've got so many of them right now that are just hitting it out the park, just having some really, really good product. So let me see. I don't hear myself. So I don't think this is working. Let me see. Let me test. Do. Okay, this is working. Awesome. I don't know if it's working from the headset or from the headset or from the computer. I'm hoping it's from the headset that I'm wearing. Sorry to be quiet there. Boom. Someone popped in for a moment. Hope say hello. But yeah, today, good stuff. Very anxious to try this beer and the cigar. We'll discuss some MMA. I really don't think this is a great betting card. A lot of juiced up lines, some unpredictable matchups, including the main event. I really think it's really tough to speculate on what can potentially happen there. I'm leaning sort of a certain way. My friend Israel is definitely back on Valentina, and Valentina has to be a serious consideration because the value's there. I mean, when have you seen Valentina Shevchenko at minus 175? I mean, it's been years since she's been that low. I think the only time that she's been anywhere near that low number is when she has been with or fought against Amanda Nunes. And that was the only time I can consider or recall it being such a low number on her. So I think there is value there, and there is value, of course, a little bit, not as much on the underdog. I think that Grasso's ability in predicting what Grasso we're going to see and what's going to happen is a little bit more challenging. You know, I went back and, of course, like other people, went and rewatched that fight, and Valentina was dominating the offensive wrestling, and she sort of tired. She got sort of complacent and lazy and overconfident in her wrestling and sort of forgot that Grasso was trying to chase that top position or to take her down herself. And although it didn't happen in the first, second, or third rounds, she really was very opportunistic and so quick. She had the better cardio, which is amazing, going into that fourth and fifth rounds, that fifth and final round. I believe it was fifth. She just seemed to be still having better movement, seemed to be a lot quicker, seem to just be seeing things better, which is interesting for Valentina. But I think Valentina missed a lot of opportunities there when she was on top, uh, because Grasso was just so good at shelling up and, on her counter jujitsu and her counter grappling off of her back. She wasn't able to throw really submissions, but she was able to squirm, shrimp, get really excellent feet movement, like get her feet out of, from being, remaining in half guard. She was able just to do certain things that, of course, a jiu-jitsu person would know a lot better than I do. But from my minimal knowledge, it wasn't the hand fighting, it was the leg and foot fighting that she was. It sounds stupid, but she was doing things to avoid damage and keep Valentina focusing on controlling her. And Valentina really wasn't doing much damage or wasn't really getting off really too many or very effective submission attempts. So I think that's something to be said about that. So it is definitely in this particular card a buyer beware for Valentina. Here, let me take this headset off because I don't even know if the headset's working. Let's see. Israel, yeah, Valentina all the way. Israel, do I still have sound? Can you guys still? Yeah, mush. Yeah, but Valentina's still, I think, more of a parlay piece. I could cover it. One of my rules, Israel, I'll cover the chalk, but covering Valentina means that I'm going to have to throw most of my bank. Like, I'm not interested in doing that. I'd rather throw my bank, if I'm going to do that, on an underdog or another bet that I have, rather than Valentina. I might parlay Valentina. I think Valentina might be a good parlay piece. But okay, good. I'm glad you can hear me. But I'm still Grasso. It cannot be underestimated. Just like Moreno, the Mexican fighters, they have such great drive. They have great skill. They aren't here to participate. To take Connor's. Let's try this beer. To take Connor saying the Mexicans aren't here to just participate. The Mexicans are here to take over. They're obviously have a strong presence in MMA. It's a shame that they do not have already that PA in Mexico City or Mexico. Yeah, so this is the Hot Butcher, guys. The Hot Butcher. Oh, wow, juicy. Look at that juice. All juice. I think Hot Butcher right now is just making some of the best stuff, but tons of nectar and juice on the Siamese Suds. The drumsticks with the speakers. One thing I like about their canning Hot Butcher is they always give you the tasting notes on the back. So it's candied mango with juicy tangerine and ripe stone fruit. So Hot Butcher right now is just destroying the game here in Chicago. This collab is interesting. I didn't know. I don't know what about making like beer collabs with bands, but I mean, Smashing Pumpkins is one of the best bands to come out of Chicago. Maybe the owner or some of the people there are what's his name? He's a cigar smoker. I think I recall him smoking cigars. So I didn't choose this Placencia in particular to smoke with this beer, but there's nothing bad about a Placencia. I was thinking of a different cigar, but this one was in the $9 range, and I bought one of the Truest States Reserva Privada, which is one of their private reserve cigars, and that one was like $16, and so I didn't want to smoke it today. I'm just being cheap, I guess, to be quite honest, but this is still a $9 cigar. I think in that price range, everything's going to be pretty good. Right now, the cigars are my cigar appetite is just getting expensive. I don't have a lot of overtime right now. It's hard to justify some of these cigars, having a bunch of cigars, but I want to age some of the cigars that I do have. I want to age most of them. So what I'm doing is buying 3 cigars and then putting 2 of them away and smoking one of them here with you. And that's what I've been doing lately. And I'm trying to do that as much as possible, but it's hard to catch up because sometimes I come home after work, and I'm having a couple beers, and I'll have a cigar here after work and outside, and so that's feed getting into my little stash a little bit, but I'm trying to uh, avoid that. So I'm actually needing to. It's just tough. I think what I'm going to do is get a. Yeah, those things can get expensive as well. Fortunately, yeah, it can be a lot of things are very pricey. I was going to go to New Orleans today, but I had a little overtime and I didn't get a chance to go. But maybe I'll go next week for an overnight trip. I was hoping to have this smoke or have a cigar over there, have some seafood, travel around the French Quarter, Spanish Quarter, et cetera, et cetera. So, but nope, today you have me. But yeah, the cigars, you can find, we have found those good $5 cigars, but most cigars are going to be a little bit higher. So let's try this beer here, this juicy, creamy. Oh, look at that. Oh, juice, man. Look at that thing. Oh my God. Tons of grapefruit. It's sort of like a grapefruit. Oh, what's up, guys? What's up? Welcome. Bout Butters. Wrist check. The Sugus on a yellow strap. I'm really liking this watch. This was a good buy. It's Chinese made, right? I like the hints of blue in there, the white dial with the blue. It goes with any strap or even a bracelet. If you put a bracelet on it, it goes with a lot of different clothes. It's just a very diverse watch. I've been very fortunate to have it. I love the feel of it, but primarily I like its diversity, that it goes with a lot of different straps and it goes with pretty much anything that I'm wearing. I could get a brown strap if I'm wearing my brown shoes, or I got some yellows on my shirt today. So I put this yellow strap on there, and the yellow complements the enamel numerals as well as the sort of the blue that's on the cathedral arms as well as on the indices. If you look closely, the indices of the minute marks are actually blue, and it looks like the enamel on the numerals is sort of outlined by blue. And so it seems that it has a really nice, it goes well with blues, but other colors and as well. And so just find it a very diverse watch. This one has gone up in value. I think a lot of watches all across the board, depending on where you're at, have gone up in value because of COVID. I bought this after COVID, but I think it still went up because inflation. Everything's just going up. Everything's just going up in price. Let me see if I'm still in frame. Welcome, Bow Betters. Israel, stop dry snitching on me here. No dry snitching. Let's see if I'm still here. Oh, man, I'm gonna smoke the cigar. What am I trying to do here? Oh, yeah, I just need the live portion. Yeah, I guess I can move this thing closer to me, which is cool. I'm sort of in frame. Do this. Let me do this. Yeah, do that, right? Is that any better? Oh, I peeked my nose on camera. Oh, what's that? That's interesting. What's going on here? What's going on? What's this? Oh, did it flip the camera somehow? My bad, guys. Shit. Always technical difficulties with Roberto, right? Always technical difficulties. Yeah, flip the camera. Boom. There we go. Let's see if that helps any better. Welcome, Bow Betters. Man, look at this. Look at this beer, guys. Look at that juice. Look at how thick that is. It is heavy grapefruit. Like it's like a grapefruit beer. I taste more of the grapefruit than the candied mango or the stone fruit. Actually, they call it stone fruit, and with tangerine. Man, it is a lot of citrus, but more of that grapefruit, stone fruit than anything. Although you could smell the tangerine though. Mm. Heavy fruit, very candied, very heavy sugars, very sweet. 7.5. Thing's gonna pack a buzz. Um, really, really strong. Still recommend it. I love these juicy beers. Don't get me wrong. I really, really do like them. I just don't think like this is not necessarily a food beer. It's almost a meal in itself, right? Like I think this is like a this is gonna think I'm crazy. It's like a beer that you can actually mix like a hard alcohol in it, a certain a certain citron or even a tequila. You can almost use this as a juice. I mean, it is just heavy, heavy, heavy on the fruit. So it has probably has a lot of rind in it, as you could tell. I mean, like look at the thickness of this thing. Look at that stuff, guys. That is heavy, 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 like juice. You can't even see through it. So it's a double IPA, super strong, super strong. Oh, let me get my. I hate putting on a jacket today. Come on. Kidding me, guys? It is getting a little chilly out here. I smoke this cigar using the. Yeah, we'll get the Joey's pick. We'll talk a little bit about some of the numbers I see out there. I think last time you know, like other people, I didn't expect Grasso to win, and I had Valentina because Valentina's been a moneymaker for me. I might have had her by decision, and I might have put her in a parlay that I lost, but I wasn't heavy on her very much so, and I'm not very heavy looking up and down this card. I'm not very heavy on this card at all. There is a little parlay that I did play on recommendation of Joey, and it was okay, right? Like it's I'm not completely happy with it, and you know I think other people like, for example, I wouldn't hate you if you parlayed Valentina Shevchenko with someone. I'm you know Selwer was way too juiced up. That thing is so high right now. Raul Rosas Jr. It is dog. Throw $5 on Terrence Mitchell, and maybe even Gallegos. I doubt Gallegos takes Selwer out, but the lines are so juiced. It's so ridiculous. But I'm really liking Lupita Godinez, even though her number is horrible. You know, and I would probably like parlay Valentina right now with Kopilov. I think Fremd is just not very good. I don't think he's going to be around. Kopilov is just a striker. Fremd can, you know, do some jiu-jitsu, but Roman Kopilov's takedown defense is okay. But the guy is a phenomenal striker. So I'm going to stay away from the Tracy Cortez, Jasmine Jastovicius fight. You know, you could go either way. It's a coin toss, and it's like basically betting red or black, and I think it is even money. And I think it is just like, you know, I'm leaning a little bit on Jastovicius, but you know, it's going to be tough. It's going to, you know, the only reason I lean on Jastovicius a little bit more is just because of the reach, right? If she could manage her reach and manage distance, I lean slightly on her, but I'm not going there. So I think a good parlay, Kopilov already now he's like plus 300. I mean minus 300, which is crazy. You know, earlier in the week he was a little bit better of a parlay piece with you know, I like Sal Huber to sort of take this. I think his number is just way too high, and you know, I lean slightly on Valentino, but I'm not going strong on anything but a dog play. And we'll let you know about the dog play after we smoke the cigar, break down a couple of these fights maybe, and go from there. But I think this is a lackluster card. Think about it. It's a women's flyweight championship that is free. It's not a pay-per-view. It's a belt fight, a championship fight that's not a pay-per-view. I think it's a waste. I think, but then again, I think it's a filler card, a fluffer card, so to speak, where Dana is just using this to fulfill his contract and his obligation with ESPN. It's going to be a fight night card, which is insane, but it's not a great one at that. It's pretty good. I mean, there's like, I like Grasso Valentina. I think it's a fantastic bout. Watching their rematch, I mean the original, the first bout, great fight, man. Exciting, high level striking. Both girls, like the boxing versus the kickboxing and karate of Valentina is just super, like really, really like good to watch. And then the grappling exchanges between them was really, really good. I mean, Grasso had some problems with the grappling. With the wrestling is not that great, but if she's on top, or she could get a hold of you, or if you get a dominant position, she's better at offensive jiu-jitsu than Valentina. She's not a better grappler. She's not a better wrestler. She's not a better overall grappler. But if she gets top position, she will submit you. Or gets your back. She's going to submit you. I mean, she's that good. What's up, MMA Jesus? I told them about Sean. Yeah. You got Grasso via KO. MMA Jesus, good to see you again, brother. Yeah, I mean, Grasso has got hands, and she's got great cardio. Her boxing is sound, man. It is solid. She's a solid boxer, man. Her boxing, I think she's trained by her father. Like, she grew up boxing. She's done it just like Valentina has done it her whole life. Alexa Grasso has done it her whole life too, and she's younger. And Grasso, even though hopefully she didn't fall into that Moreno trap where he was doing the news, and he became a hero. And so did Grasso in Mexico. There are big personalities in Mexico. Like, they're sellable. They got to go on TV. They meet people. They're selling stuff. And all more power to them. That's what they got to do. But Grasso is one of those people that, just like Moreno, where they come from these roots where they never stop being hungry. They've made it, but they're not going to stop being hungry because, especially in a place like Mexico, you realize how everything could just be gone so easily. You could be on top, and next thing you know, you have nothing. I mean, here in the States too, but Mexico is one of those places, man. It's very brutal. It can be a very brutal place where it's definitely a country like a lot of Central America have and have nots. And it's easy to have something and then have something taken away from you or lose it all. So, MMA Jesus, yeah, Grasso by KO is going to, where are we at here? Grasso by KO. I mean, that's going to be a nice number, right? All the upside is on Grasso. Like, so if you're on her side, you're getting some good numbers, and I see why that entices you. In that particular fight, I'm actually looking at a time prop. I would take like Grasso and over 1.5, or even Valentina Shevchenko and over 1.5. I've been doing that a lot lately and winning those particular bouts. It's going to be juice. Like, it's set at over 4.5 is minus 160. So they're sort of on the fence. They think it's going to go the distance. So I think that if you're betting that KO line, you're going to get some good return on your investment. Let's see what it is here, MMA Jesus. Let me get this cigar lit, so when I'm talking, I could look at this. The double peepee. Love these little torpedoes. Look at that. The quality of this is fantastic. So to light it is going to be pretty cool too. So love this cut that it makes, that V cut for $1. This is for $1. It works as good as my $100 cutter. MMA, she's at plus 1,300, huh? Let's see. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, it's not letting me. DraftKings is not letting me open up the props. I know they're up, so I'll take your word for it. Plus 1,300 isn't bad. You're getting value there, but how much are how much are you betting there? $10, 13? That's still good. You throw $10 on it, you're up $130, $120. So I don't think it's horrible. I think it's possible, unlikely but possible. I think it's going the distance, right? Because under 4.5 is plus 124. Yeah, come on, open that up, baby, open that up. So today I got my JS DuPont, my DuPont lighter, sterling silver. MMA Jesus is saying sub is like plus 500. Yeah, I think a trap that a lot of people fall into, and I've done it myself as well, is like Grasso got the sub, and so right away you're thinking, oh shit, her jujitsu is like off the chain. That sub's gonna happen. Oh, they think that they got it in one fight, and you look at, I think like Grasso has like, that was her like first submission victory or second submission victory in her career. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to like pigeonhole a fighter. With certain guys you can, like Bryce Mitchell and this guy, the Wizard, Ryan Hall. Their method of victory tends to be the grappling, tends to be the jiu-jitsu. I'm not saying they're one-dimensional, especially Bryce Mitchell. Like Mitchell could crack. He's just not elite level in that striking. It's funny that Valentina by a lot of wood as always. I've had this in the humidor for a couple weeks now. Great body, a little flinty, strong wood, strong cedar with a little pepper, a little spice. I don't mind it. I love the earth richness to it. I love the trying to figure out the wood. It's not as nutty as I would like. It doesn't have that oiliness, but the texture of it is still very, very pleasant. Very rich cigar, almost milky, like the beer. So, yeah, Grasso submission is plus 400 on DraftKings, right? I think that's a little skewed. I think your MMAGs, I think you're making a better play because she's so quick in the late rounds, but her getting that TKO is a better just priced prop, right? If you're going to throw $10 at something, you're going to throw it at the submission to win 10, to win $30, $40, or you're going to do the 10 to win 100, 120, right? If you're doing that lottery ticket that is a, like not the Lambo bet, whatever you want to call it, but that is a unlikely, right? Like another thing we have to remember, it's good to bet some of these big props, man. Joey's been doing it really well lately. I've hit some pretty decent ones too, but I'm smacking them for like, for $5, right? $2, $3, and I kick myself in the ass, and I'm like, oh fuck, I should have put 10 or 20 on it, right? But for some of these really long shot props, it's just hard to justify sometimes, throwing some decent money on it, unless you really have a good insight. And usually where that happens is with a fighter that is sort of new or has had one or two fights, but minimal fights in the UFC, where Vegas doesn't have that odds set properly yet. And you're like, oh, this dude's gonna sub. They don't realize Vegas doesn't realize that he always goes for submissions in his bouts. Even though he's knocked out everybody, he always tries for a submission, and then they put his submission up there like at plus 1,300, right? And then the TKO at a low line, right? Because they always TKOs, and so it's like you bet that one time, and then he does finally get his sub, because they were looking for a sub in their career. So mm, um, lots of wood, good earth tone, but not a ton of other flavors. Like it is almost like a monotone cigar, which I'm really surprised. It's got a great body and texture to it, but it doesn't have to me, it doesn't have a full set or a full note. Like here in this beer, for example, usually there's 3 notes, right? Your beginning, your middle, and your end. And this doesn't seem to have that full set. It seems to just be almost like a monotone cigar where it has a heavy wood. That pepperiness, the spiciness is gone. It's going to dissipate. It's there. I don't know if it needs more maturing. It's there. This isn't a bad cigar. It's not a knock your socks off, fantastic, must have, must buy. At the price I bought 2 of them, right? Two $9, of these Placencias, because I wanted to smoke one and keep one to age it. Yeah, my computer is not cooperating with me. I wanted to try to get to see what either person is and the over 1.5 or over even 2.5. Yeah, even over the 2.5. I think it's going to end late in the fight. Unless here's why I like that Grasso TKO or even that submission line is if she gets on top. I've never seen Valentino off her back, right? And in fact, she's not very good off her back, right? Like, what was that the Brazilian woman kept, took her down and kept her down and did a lot of control and a lot of damage there, right? Fight to be won by split. I also like that, these fight props. Fight to be won by split or majority decision, yes, plus 500. Fight to be won by unanimous decision, yes, is plus 100. Man, juicy. Heavy juice. Lots of juice on that beer. But I think it should help the cigar out quite a bit. Come on, computer. The other good thing about this perfecto shape is that you usually get a good start of the cigar and of the smoke, right? It's going to burn or start off burning rather well because they had to shape it into this cone. So it lights really good, and then it burns really good. Yeah, it's too toasty for me, the cigar. It's still very heavy in its wood. It has a soft herb tone, but it's just not. There isn't any other sweet note or any other spice note. There isn't another note to really carry the cigar and give it like a resounding, like, oh, this is so yummy, right? And it's just not the cigar for me. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's a Placencia, so it's very high quality. I like it. but you know, it's not in the 9 club. It's not even in the 8 club right now. It's in that 7 club, right? We're giving, or even 6.5. I think it's in the 6.5 area, and the beer, again, just too strong of grapefruit. I mean, you know, monodimensional again. You know, just giving it that 6.5 as well. Like, you know, it could, you know, it's super juicy. It's very good. It just doesn't do enough for me. I don't see myself drinking this with food. It should pair the cigar rather well. I think the cigar to, like, I mean, a beer to mix in your margarita or something. Mix it with some hard alcohol in some way. If you guys are creative about your cocktails, you could use beer in it. Believe me, you could use beer in stuff. You know, like this one might make a good a different type of michelada, right? Put it with yeah, it already has that grapefruit in it. I'm saying, man, like throw it in like a little type of margarita. Add it, you know, make a little margarita. You know, your tequila. This with tequila, that beer with tequila. Throw a little tequila in there. Some other, you know, mix of something. Some limes. It'll taste pretty good. Yeah, Grosso to win and over 1.5 is plus 165. Right? That isn't horrible. Valentina to win and over 1.5 is minus 150. You might as well just take her money line. Same with Grosso with that over 1.5. Just might as well just take the money line. But look at the Grosso to win and over 2.5. She's at plus 200. Still stick with the money line. Valentina to win and over 2.5 minus 115. That isn't a bad play. There's not a lot of meat on the bone there, but that still isn't horrible. I'm gonna go get me a beer here, guys. Man, this cigar is burning really well. Like the construction on this thing, I love the placation. It's really uniform. It's started really well. Maybe it gets better. Man, that's good. Not bad. It's toasty. Glad you came in, MMA Jesus. Props to you. Thank you so much. Longtime fan. I'm a fan of his as well. I need to get back to these guys participating. I don't know why I don't. I'm just too busy watching bullshit YouTube shit. I'm re-watching Loki lately. Disney stuff. Oh, come on. Man. Yeah, just too much wood. Too much cedar. I wonder what it is. It is what it is. Ah, so sweet. So candied. With a lot of grapefruit finish. Sweet start, heavy sugars in this beer. Like it's gonna get me pretty buzzed because the sugar is just so much. I didn't really want that today. Um, Drinking other stuff that has like sugar in it lately, and all beer of course does, but this thing is heavy on the sugar. It is very sweet. Like I'll probably have this one more, and then I'll go to the Modelo's that I have because it's just too heavy. It's too sweet, too heavy. It should be good with the cigar. It should complement a cigar, but this isn't the cigar to complement it. Maybe something that has a darker wrapper like the Cosecha would be better. The Placencia Cosecha would be better. I'm glad I didn't bring out the Drew Estates Reserva. Was it Liga Reserva? It's a different cigar that I was going to smoke today. That one's in the $16 range. I saved that one. And there was another $10 cigar that of a brand that I'd never tried before, and I forget the name right now. But the cigar looked really good. Like it just looked really good. It's more of a contemporary cigar. It's not really the old school label or name on it. It had something a little different. So I rarely try those cigars, but I got to bring you guys some new things, right? Placencia Reserva by no means is new, right? I think this is more of their standard line of cigars, like the Cosecha, as well as some of the other cigars that they have are a little more higher end. This might be at the lower end of the spectrum because they're like these are $3 less than some of those, if not more. Getting a little sniffle. Yeah, so if you made it this far, you are about better. My play for this weekend, and I don't know what the line is now. Let's see what the line is now. But my play for this weekend is Kevin Holland, and I picked him up earlier in the week. Nothing large. It was on Joey's recommendation. Joey's been making some good picks. I don't know if he pulled the trigger on Kevin Holland already. But the bottom line is Kevin Holland, even though his wrestling's bad, it's still much better than we're working backwards than Jack Magdalena. Kevin Holland's got a chin. He's been in there with some heavy strikers. Not necessarily the best gas tank, but neither is Jack Magdalena, right? Like he uses a lot of energy. And I think that Holland can make this a real dirty fight. And Holland struggles with other grapplers. And this is going to be a chance for him to like, hey, I could grapple. If I get this to the ground, I'm going to have a huge advantage. I think the big problem Kevin Holland's going to have is that maybe Jack comes in and tries to wrestle him. Holland, I got him a little bit more, but he's at plus 124 now, right? I think I got him at like plus 160, right? For $50. That's pretty much my main bet. I put another parlay bet in there, and I think it was not Zellhuber. Oh, sucks that I'm unprepared. So you don't know my parlay bet, but I mentioned it could be Valentina, or I can't believe I forgot. Was it Lupita? No. Kopolov, and was it? I forgot who I put Kopolov with. Might have been with Zellhuber when he was a little bit lower. He's like still a minus 290. Yeah, I think it's Zellhuber. Zellhuber should win that fight. Gallegos can get a submission. He is a strong guy, but he gasses big time. Zellhuber gassed, I believe, in his Contender Series appearance. He just seemed a little slow or off. But now, I mean, the kid is talented. He's young, great reach, good speed, good boxing. I think, that's not a bad parlay right there. Zellhuber, right, with Lupita's too high not enough. Like Lupita Godin is minus 425, and Kopolov is now minus 310. So Kopolov, And Selhuber, man, Selhuber went up big time too. Come on, you piece of shit. Yeah, so Kopilov and Selhuber as a parlay. It'll get you close to like plus 120 plus to plus money. Just take that, throw the 50 on it, throw 100 on it, whatever you got. I wouldn't say bet the house on it. I'd say that Kopilov has a higher likelihood of victory than Selhuber, mainly because of ring experience and fight experience, and that Fremd is. I think his takedown defense is going to be strong enough that Fremd isn't going to be able to use any of his wrestling or his jiu-jitsu, and I think Kopilov's just going to style him on the feet. Way too advanced, way too skilled, more skilled than Josh Fremd, Roman Kopilov should be. You know, let's see how he responds to traveling and things like that. Maybe Kopilov. A lot of these Russians are already here. They're not, or they're in other parts of Europe. They're not in Russia, so they're able to come and fight. It's interesting how there's no ban on the fighters or Russian athletes of participating in here. It's none of my business. Dana wouldn't give a shit anyways. Look at that, Kopilov by TKO, which I thought the chase minus 129. Fuck that. Not going to do it. I think he might KO. I think he's going to KO Josh Fremd. But at minus 125, shit, as we're talking, Kopilov went up another 10 points since the show started, since I started going live. It's minus 310 now. I think I parlayed him. When I parlayed him, he was like at minus 280. So a lot of money's come. Everybody's parlaying Kopilov. Everyone, like, it's obvious. I'm not a genius. I don't have to be smart. I'm not giving any like fantastic insight. Guys, that's the good thing of looking at the odds at the beginning of the week, trying to remember something or jumping on something at the beginning of the week. But you're able to see, wow, there's a lot of line movement here. Shit, you know, you lost out, but you could jump in or avoid it. Just say, all right, it's too juiced up for me. I think Josh Kopilov still at minus 310 is a decent parlay piece with Selhuber. I think that's the way to go. But I would say get your bets in now before both those guys just get juiced to the gills. I think there's going to be just a lot more money coming in on both of those fighters and a lot of these fighters. I hate these chalky lines. I mean, Daniel Lacerda at minus 210, not liking it. You know, Jasmine Juvicius has become an underdog, so more money is coming on Cortez. Very surprised at that. You know, Josephine Knudsen minus 600. Wow, just absurd. Charlie Campbell minus 435. Another fight that stay away from. Yeah, Kopilov, Lupita Godinez minus 425. Still a little juice too, but you know that wrestling is just so good. She is the better fighter here. Elsie Reed is just not going to have anything for her on the feet or on the ground. I think Lupita does outclass her, so that minus 425 is justified. Just not happy with the over 2.5 and minus 180. What are they giving Lupita's decision at? What do we got her decision at? Plus 110. Not horrible. Her submission is plus 275. So what is her finish line? It's probably like plus 100, the double chance. That's what they call it in DraftKings. Yeah, this computer is always. One thing I like, that is nice. Now it's getting a little better. There's a little cinnamon, a little with a little like paprika, a little spice to it, and very toasty. Still has that strong wood character though. And something else. Yeah, Godinez by submission or decision minus 280. These motherfuckers. Oh my god. They do not make it easy for you here. and her finish line is plus 140 to win Godinez by TKO or submission plus 140. Not bad, but it's a women's fight. Yes, Godinez is outclasses LZ Reed, but we know that there have been more finishes, but it's more likely a decision than a finish. Like, man, let's see what if we have anything on the fight parlays. I doubt it. I'm Godinez to win an over 1.5 minus 200. That's better than her money line. You know, if you want to parlay that with something else, I think that's a better route. That with Kopylov or Selhuber, I think that's a better sort of parlay leg than just her money line, right? Because you already cut it in half. Like, you cut the chalk in half, so still not happy. Like, I'm not betting much. Like, as I mentioned, guys, main bet for this weekend is Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is the main play this week on the money line. He's dropping. It's going to get closer. I think as another fighter that you should get now. Holland's got a good chance there. You know, Jack could crack. Jack could crack. Jack is no joke. You know, I think it's a shame that he wasn't on the previous card. They put him on this card as a co-main event, which I think is great for him. I think it's a good business move for both these guys, especially Jack Magdalena. He could have been on that Australia card and they would have fed him some can. And I think it's smart for Holland not to go over to Australia to fight, taking that trip way across the other part of the world where it's not that easy, right? So I think it's a good idea. It's a good fight. The main event and co-main event are fantastic fights and fantastic betting fights. Those are the two fights I think to focus money on, as well as the bout between Jasmine Jasudavicius as well versus Tracy Cortez. Cortez is still only minus. It's almost near an even money fight. I think that's the way to go. I think focus on those three bouts. On the prop side, the time prop side, the over-unders on those, parlaying those particular bouts, other than, you know, what we saw that I mentioned here with Lupita Godinez, is going to be a good way for you guys to make money, unless there's something else, which I always suggest you guys like put something in the comment section. Nobody ever does. I made good money last week. I didn't go live last week. I worked those days. Something happened that I wasn't able to go live, which is unfortunate. But we won most of our bets. The only bets that I did lose were these small little long shot parlays, long shot props, like these $2 bets that I knew that I didn't care if I lost them. I didn't care. I already knew that they were like beyond long shots. It was no big deal, that I was going to make my money back and then some, betting on the people that I did, the parlays that I made, and then my underdog shot paid off. So just like with Holland, if Holland wins, he could pay for the other little parlay bets that I made and then some. Like, I'll still make a profit if he wins based on what I bet. Right, I'm not going large. My bankroll for this so far is $100. I got $50 on Holland on the money line, and then I got $50 on the parlay that I put in. Should have put more money in, but I just didn't want to. So I only got $100 at risk or at play for this weekend, and I might just leave it at that, guys. I'm not feeling any strong until I don't see any of these props that really jump out at me, and maybe I'm starting to pigeonhole myself too much on looking at that big number rather than a more solid thing or something that could be a quote-unquote lock. You know, like that Lupita Godinez, and to win over 1.5. What did I say that was? Like at minus 110? It's like almost even money. Or what? No, what was it? Minus 200. Yeah, it was minus 200. No, so Yeah, the Zellhuber TKO. What was the Zellhuber TKO? And the Kopilov TKO was chalky. Plus 175 for Zellhuber. I think he can knock out Gallegos. Really think that it's a strong likelihood that he can knock out Gallegos. So I don't know if I'm going to chase that though. You know, why chase a prop when my main play in Holland is still at plus 134? Why chase a prop when I already have invested in something that I have a strong likelihood or I'm leaning towards. So I'm not going to re-up into Holland. Maybe I do. Hopefully, I'm hoping maybe some big money comes in on Jack Magdalena. Maybe I doubt it's going to happen at this point that we get Holland at a better price, but I don't think so. I just might just let lay down the 100 and let it slide, let it roll. What happens. Play those 2 bets, and I'm happy with myself. You guys have always mentioned this. Happy that I'm only doing 2 bets about a fight rather than spreading myself so thick. Even even last week, the profit that I lost, the $30, $40 in these $2 bets. Not horrible, right? But not fantastic, I should have went harder on that Tafa round 1. That was a bet. That was Joey's play. That was my play. Justin Tafa, KO round 1. Right? I should have went heavier on that, but it's risky. It's risky, guys. But that bout paid for the whole card. The money I laid down on that particular fight paid for it all. It covered those little $2 lottery ticket, scratch off ticket bets, and then some. So money management, yes, little losses here, little losses there. It ate into a bit of the profit, but overall still a good performance by myself last week. Made a couple $100, and I started my bankroll. I started last week was with $30, right? From the beginning of the bout to the end, I made a bunch of bets, but the right bets that I made were that, putting Tafa, once I made a little bit of money, I put everything into that Tafa round 1, right? And then there was another play, I forgot what the other play was, that I was sure of. I took my profits off the smaller plays that I made, these $10 bets that I made, and then just parlayed those or just snowballed them into other bets that I thought were going to be highly likely outcomes. And it worked out for me. One day I'm going to have to do a live betting live program where I start just with $5. And we can see if I could make that $5, how far we could go into that $5 and flipping them just into single bets in the evening, right? Or maybe not just $5, we'll do $30. $30. Start with $30 and you could bet anything you want. You could split it up into parlays, you could split it up into decision props, you could split it up in money lines, and just use that as your bankroll and keep building it or not, or losing it all, and seeing if, how good you could take that $30 and what you could do with it. Not $100, just $30, right? Because I think that's realistic, or even 20. Let's do 20. One day I'm going to have to do that where it's I'm going to live bet, go live. We're going to go on the show. We're going to do $20, start with $20 as a bankroll and see if we could do something with it, right? If we could, how much money or profit, or if we just lose it all, how quickly we lose it. That's it. Because I'm pretty good at doing that. I've gotten good at all right, let's just start with a few bucks here, and we won that one. All right, so I'm going to put more money on this now, on my other lock. I'm going to take, okay, I won $20, so I'm going to take 15, put it on my my main play, and I'm gonna take that other 5 and risk it on some other like long shot or some other prop that might give me some other money, right? Might pay out pretty good, and it's been okay doing that lately. I've been doing that pretty good. I think a lot of you guys do that just naturally, anyways, right? If you don't have a lot of money, you don't have to have a lot of money to make some money. Oh yeah, who ate into most of my profit last week? I had Bam Bam by KO. that ate into a little bit of the profit. But if that paid off, we'd be pretty good. Be doing all right. It was like plus 225, plus 300, and then I had him in round 1 KO'd like plus 425 or something like that. The beer does complement cigars very well, and the cigar has gotten a little better. But I think the beer has helped it. The beer is covering my tongue. It's mingling and commingling with the wrapper. So it's a lot of it is just the beer. How are you doing, guys? Nobody's in the chat anymore. How quickly I lose people here. How quickly I lose. No, hit the like button. Share, like, and subscribe. If you made it this far, you are about better. Best of luck to you guys this week. I am losing you. I'm not leaving yet. We always smoke the cigar almost to the end. Drink another beer. But I think I've given most of the information. I think a lot of these guys that cover all these. Here's a trap that you could easily fall into, guys. And here's my criticism of all these shows that do full breakdowns. Like, you're so inundated with information, and some of it is good information and some of it isn't, right? Like, and what most of these cappers are doing is providing just information that's already out there. Right? They could give you a reasoning why or justification why they're leaning one way or the other, but I think that they're not as concise to you and for you. Like, I'm telling you to bet Kevin Holland, so it's out there, right? I made money on Strickland. I used some free bets. Like, if I went live, I would have said, hey, for it, I would have told you what's obvious. Just like for some of these lines, like. I do like. Let's just talk about Raul. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Terrence Mitchell, minus 750. I haven't looked at a tape on Terrence Mitchell. Not as familiar with him, right? He lost his first, UFC bout. Probably not that good, but if he could just stand. If he could just stay on his feet and keep this going, right? I like the over one. The over 1.5 now is over 1.5 at plus 210. They're thinking about Raul Rosas Jr. is going to go out there and smoke this guy and just take him down and submit him. Are they really giving Raul Rosas Jr. that much of a bone? Likelihood is yes. Like, it is matchups. It's not, again, it's not fight fixing. They're not fixing a fight, but they do. Matchmaking does have a level of this, not deceit, but we know that they can help a fighter by giving them an opponent that is lacking in a certain skill that you're better at, that gives you a better opportunity or more likelihood to win. But at 5 plus 525, depending on where I'm at, actually, I won't be anywhere because I got such few plays. Talk me into throwing $10 on Terrence Mitchell, or not $10, yeah, $10 on Terrence Mitchell. It's not going to be that hard. No, I like that number plus 525, right? It's Raul Rosas Jr. at minus 750. There is no space. And I hated when MMA Lock of the Night that the one dude in Canada would be like, oh, you parlay him and then you make the money. No, do not put him in your parlay. You don't make money putting a minus 750 in your parlay. No, shut the fuck up. You don't make money that way. You know how much money you have to bet to add somebody that's minus 750? I mean, you got to be rich. If you're going to do that, just but Raul Rosas Jr. at minus 750 and you fucking throw $100,000 on it, right? If you're that confident, if you think like, oh, I'm going to parlay. I hated when you would say that. This is how you make. No, you're giving bad advice. Do not parlay anybody that is over minus 300. Don't even think about it. You know, don't throw anybody in your parlay or anything that's over minus 300. Kopolov is minus 310 at this point. That's how you don't do it. If you didn't get him at that other number, he's close enough, but don't do it. I don't bet the money line on anybody that's over minus 200. That's my limit right there. You're minus 200, I'll cover that chalk. But I ain't going over minus 250. Going to minus 250. I'm not betting fighters at that level. There's other spots, right? Padilla at minus 250, you're going to cover his chalk against Kyle Nelson. I'm not saying go for the dog, but just avoid those fights. And so these guys are to give you information. Oh, I think Padilla's got to do this and this and that, and boom, boom, and the next thing you know, you're going to bet that. It's like you're going to be like me the way I used to be on my own without any of the capper's advice. Being conceited and headstrong and thinking that you know, and we do know, but you're going against the stream, you're going against the market, going against Vegas so much, or with them in so many, in certain instances where the whole point of the gambling is to find the spot. I should make a show about that. Find your spot. Find this line that is skewed. Find something that is the anomaly. Find something that is not the norms. Something that not everybody's on. Something that Vegas missed, that mostly cappers missed, that the public missed. That is the key, right? That is like more key, right? Like Joey's been doing really well with that lately. Like finding these props, and he used to tell me not to bet these props, but he bets these great big, meaty plus money props, and he's been winning them, like smacking them too. It's like, man, that's the way to do it. If you could do it with the knowledge that we have, and the knowledge all you guys have being MMA fans, or stay away. I think we're betting too much. DraftKings, the whole betting community, the whole betting Vegas, they make their money off of our activity that we're betting so much. They love that shit, right? They don't like it when you bet one bet for $100. Right? That's not what they're, you go to Vegas and you're just betting red and black the whole time, and for big money, they're gonna chase you off that table. They don't want you having that even odds, like, oh, you're not taking any real risk. You're just doing the 50-50 here. The heads or tails, and you're winning. So they'll ask you to leave. I bet you $1,000. You win fucking, you throw 100, keep throwing $100 or $1,000 on red or black in bets. If you got that kind of money, and you win 10 of them, you win, you win 10,000, or you win, $1,000. Eventually, they're gonna get pissed off at you, and they're gonna ask you to leave, or they're gonna switch the table over. They're gonna switch the ball person over. They're not gonna be happy with you doing these 50-50 bets. They're not going to be happy with that because they want you to take risk. And I think that's going back to my point, I think a lot of cappers, with the information that they provide, enable you and encourage you to take risks. They feed into that paradigm. They feed into that, what Vegas wants you to do, which is take unnecessary risks. Gambling's all about risk mitigation. It's all about taking the least risk for the biggest opportunity. But that risk is based on your knowledge, though. It has to have a basis, has to have facts to support you. And that's why they give the facts and they give the statistics. I get that. But we're trying to mitigate that against what we wager. So we're trying to get our best risk to reward and mitigating the risk. Right? We're trying to take the less risk possible based on what we're doing. And that's why I bet lately I've been betting the way I have, and I've been losing less money. I, that's another thing that you guys have to understand. I made a true statement there. I've been losing less money. I'm not saying I've been winning more money. I've been losing less money. So now I'm not losing. I don't have these big losses of $400, $1,000. I don't have those nights anymore. Those are gone. I don't lose that much anymore, right? Because I'm doing a mitigation of what my risk to reward is here, and at max I'm losing $200, $200 a night, and I'm still wagering that 400. I could still be wagering that $400. I could be up and then be up money and still take that winnings, or take that money and then lose it and break even. It sucks. I always hated that. I always hate that, taking your profit, reinvesting in stuff, or risking it, and then you break even for the night. It's hard, man. It's hard. It's disheartening. You're still not losing, right? But it's disheartening. Or you lose just a little bit. Like I'll end up losing on a night, where I start with $200, I'll lose like $60 of it. I don't, lately I haven't minded that, because there've been nights and other times where I've lost all of it and more, and then some. Gamble. Take risks. Yes. Oop. The hell? My computer just went out. What the hell? Am I still live? I'm gonna go get a beer. Let me see if I'm live still on the camera. Yeah. There it goes. Yeah, take risks, guys. And gamble, but gamble within your limits and set. I think, again, when everybody gives you all these plays and they say, "Oh, I'm on this side or on that side," they're not betting that shit, bro. Nobody's betting that shit, man. I'll tell you what, I've always, when I've told you I bet on something or I'm betting on this, I'm betting on it. Big difference between all the cappers online. When I say I'm betting that shit, I'm betting that shit. And it is only just $2 or $3 or $5. It could be $50, $100, $200, right? Like that's like my maximum bet, like $200. I'm betting it. I'm saying it and I'm betting it. Whereas most cappers, they're not gambling, guys. They're not gambling. They're not doing it. And they could tell you whatever on the thing and that. I don't see it, man. I don't see the wealth accumulation of these people. Even myself, I don't have the wealth accumulation. I'm down for the year still. I recovered. I recouped a lot of my losses. I'm maybe losing around. I'm still down maybe about $1,200 or maybe $1,000 this year. That's good. That's serious money. I could have one or two events. Like all I need is one good event that like make that back up. But that's where I'm at, guys. Like, I'm down. Everybody else, for likes and views, for credibility, and the cigar has gotten much, much better. I think it's because of the beer as we're drinking. It has the sweetness now. The beer is complementing the cigar. It's adding an element, that finish element that the cigar needed. That little sweetness is now in the cigar. It's almost as if I dip the cigar into the beer to give it like added flavor. That's what's happening, because the beer, that's citrus, there's tons of citrus now all over my palate, that you could taste it on the cigar now. So it isn't the cigar per se. It really is the complementary, or the pairing of the two. So they're marrying each other very well, and yep, it's still very woody. And I don't apologize for my rant. I get into this because these guys go on and on and on and on and on about every fucking fight, every Taranfinium. The fight night picks kids. On and on and on, talking about a fight, and they're like, "Oh, we remember this," but they never say they're gonna bet it, and they pick somebody, and it's like, dude, like, yeah, it is what it is. I gotta stop hating on people. You know, it's like Ron says, I got boxes full of losing tickets. So, you know, what are you gonna say? Well, what I say to that is that I play the game, right? I'm a true player. I'm a true gambler. Other guy, a true hustler. Other people, they're over here TikToking, right? It's just for the camera. It's just for the likes and the views. That's not my case, but whatever. Like and subscribe. You know, tell people come through. The more, you know, I have nobody to participate with. Also, I'm not gonna, you know, it is a great. It's hard to play off, and for me to stay here in front of camera talking shit. Actually, it's not that hard for 2 hours because I could talk MMA all fucking day. I could talk all this shit all fucking day. I could look at these numbers. I could talk to the numbers. I could talk MMA. I could talk to gambling, but it helps if somebody else was in here, you know, helping it out. So I need some participants. Come on through. I'm not going to mush my bets this weekend. Don't be a mush. As Israel said, let me go get another beer. I'll have one more of those. Hot Butcher, Siamese. Here's another take on my main play for this week. Like a lot of people forgot, Holland could crack. Holland could crack just like Magdalena. He doesn't need to just wrestle to win this fight. Like the dude himself could finish. The dude, he could get a TKO, right? The dude can crack. Like it could be, you know, either one of these guys are super. They're both dangerous on the feet. I just like Holland's a better MMA fighter. And he's fighting a guy, he struggles against wrestlers. And he's fighting Jack Magdalena, who has no wrestling. Absolutely no wrestling. So when he was at a bigger number, it was a little risky. I like, because I like Magdalena knocking him out. Like either fighter to win by, like the fight to end by KO. What's that? Let's look at that. Fight to end by KO. Let's see here. And I like doing that as well. Minus 120. You know? We don't have to be geniuses. We're not like, I'm not an MMA guru. I'm not an MMA genius to know these things. I've only been gambling in MMA for a couple decades now. I've been watching it for the past 30 years. So it's not like I'm smart about it, but I'm smart enough. Smart enough to hurt myself, which I have been. Right, this year we're down a bit. Last year was a profitable. The previous 2 years, 3 years were profitable years. Right, so I made a few $1,000 each of those years. Not a lot, a couple thousand, $2,000, $3,000. It's been a lot of battling, guys. That's the other thing that people aren't telling you. Like, if these guys are making $100K and paying off their homes, God, more power to you. And if I did make that money, I would still do YouTube. I'd still do YouTube. I'd still do, this is fun. I'd do it on a different level though too. If I made more money, if I had more money, if I were rich off of the gambling, or if I had a bigger channel, you know, it'd be worth investing in. At this point, it's not worth investing in. You know, it fall off. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, very green. Just not, you know, what did I say? 6'5", 6'7", 6'5", 6'5", 6'5" on the cigar for sure. Like needs more aging. Maybe it just isn't of the best quality. A lot of wood, monodimensional, just one-dimensional cigar. Holland to win by finish, TKO or submission, plus 250. Magdalena to TKO or decision, minus 135. That's his method of victory, right? TKO or decision. That Magdalena decision line plus 300 is not a bad play right there if you're on his side. Not a bad play at all. They don't give you a lot of, man, it's funny, like they don't give you a lot of meat on Holland. TKO is plus 400, his submission line is plus 600, and his decision line is plus 400. And Holland could win a decision here. He could win it. He could win that. What about the fight parlays here in this particular bout, guys? Holland to win and over 1.5 is plus 215. Not the best meat on there, but if you're on the Magdalena side, he's to win and over 1.5 plus 140. So that might be a better way to bet Jack, right? Because then you're just betting him to win no matter what happens, and over 1.5. And Holland's got a chin. I think this has got to go over 1.5. Right? I don't know what the, you know, like this is the round props here. Fight to start round 2, minus 280. Yes. Yeah, there's a likelihood it's going to go over 1.5. Over 1.5 is probably the play here. Over 1.5. Oh, no. Over 1.5. Over 1.5 is minus 175. So Vegas knows that's the play. Right? That's the more likelihood thing to do. The more likely thing to do is that over 1.5. Not a lot of meat on the bone there, but it seems like, you know, the best play was Kevin Holland on the money line earlier. If you're on that side, if you're on the Magdalena side, I think you could cover that chalk minus 148. That's easy chalk to cover, and I think Kevin Holland might surge just out of popularity. People trying to jump on that dog, and that dog money's going to disappear. That Magdalena with the over 1.5, if you're on his side, I think is the way to go. You could already get that plus money now, right? I mean, you have to worry about the rounds, but because Kevin Holland, I think he's got a chin. He's got a chin. He likes to crack too, so this is going to be a very interesting, good bout. Like this and the main event are going to be fantastic bouts. So, you know, you could skip most of the card from a betting perspective as well as from a fan perspective, although we all watch all of them. I just would start betting at that Tracy Cortez, Jasmine Jasovicius. I want to bet with my Canadian girl. She's plus 112. Cortez is still surging, you know, increasing as we speak. I'm sorry, she's minus 122, Cortez. Yeah, you get Jasovicius at plus money. I'm not adverse to that. It's a coin flip. It literally is black or red in that bout. I like Jasovicius's reach. I like that she is a good wrestler, but she started from a Taekwondo base, I believe. So I think on the feet, she's going to have an advantage. I might lean on Jasovicius. I'm hoping more money comes in on Cortez. Like, we like to bet wrestlers, but Jasmine Jasovicius is a good wrestler too. I'm glad Kopolov's number hasn't gone up. That minus 130 Kopolov TKO is ridiculous. He is going to knock out Josh Fremd. That will go under 2.5. It's minus 166. And, fucking juice to the fucking gills. No money to be made on this card, guys. I think a smart parlay. I think the bets, the bouts to bet on are Tracy Cortez versus Jasmine Jasovicius. There's Kopolov as a parlay piece as immediately, like now. I like Lupita Godinez and that over 1.5 as a parlay piece. I think you get her at minus 200, right? As I mentioned, parlay piece now, like today. And Daniel Zellhuber on the money line where he's still not at that minus 300 number as a parlay piece. And then long shot lottery ticket bet, maybe $5, $10. That Terrence Mitchell against Raul Rosas Jr. I think Rosas Jr. is going to get the sub. Or what is Rosas Jr. by the sub? Because he's going to look for the sub. We saw that he's not really he likes to talk about his striking, and he can strike pretty good, but he's more of a submission guy, and it's minus 225. Oh, forget it. There's nothing there. Bet the dog or pass. And you can't even bet the dog is not even that good, but that's ridiculous. Minus 225. Goes to show you, stay away. Do not bet a lot of this shit. Make one parlay. And then my parlay, Kevin Holland on the money line. That's it. That's the plays of the week. Good luck. If you made it this far, you are about better. Please like and subscribe. Share this thing. Good luck this weekend. Gonna be a mediocre, but hey, maybe it surprises us. We forget, like using Shevchenko as a parlay piece or the props there. I love that the MMA Jesus at Grasso by TKO at plus 1300. She was Grasso was at plus money for her submission at plus 500. But what about the Shevchenko side, right? What about the Shevchenko side? Her by decision. She had a hard time submitting her, but she had tons of control time in that last fight. Oh my God, what I just saw there, Malkoon. Grasso by decision plus 350, Shevchenko plus 150 by decision. Yeah, guys, not a good card. Not a good card at all. I think pick two players that I mentioned, two people to get you to a parlay piece. Kevin Holland, it's done. It's a wrap. Don't be trying to nickel and dime these other things. Don't get spread out. Don't get snake charmed as Cesnik, Strickland's coach, said. All these guys saying, "Hey, do this, do that. Oh, it's this and this and that." Don't listen to those dudes. Stick to small plays, small bets that are highly likely to win. Don't invest a lot in this card. Just wait for another card where we have some better odds or things are a lot better. I think this is a card to avoid. I'm not going to spread myself anymore. I'm going to leave the $100 that I have, 50 on the parlay, 50, as I mentioned before, on Holland to win, and I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, I'm not even going to sprinkle Holland by submission or anything like that. I mentioned some other things that are potentials, but I'm not betting most of those. Like I might parlay, for example, Godinez to get her down, as a parlay piece with Zellhuber or Kopilov, that hurt a win and that under or over 1.5. Like that might be a parlay leg, right? But I'm not going to invest large in these parlays. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I think avoid this card, guys. Let's see how it turns out. If it ends up being really good, awesome. But if you made it this far, you are about better. I really appreciate everybody in the audience, everybody that listens to this shit, everybody who watches this crap. Smoke cigars. The Siamese, yeah, this is Hot Butcher Siamese Suds. Not a bad beer. You know, it's still in that 6.5. The beer and the cigar in the 6.5. We're leaving it at the 6.5 club. Like good, but not special, but not horrible. Nothing here is horrible. Nothing in the opinion is horrible. Good luck this weekend. And as always, if you made it this far, you are about better. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good week.